All right, we'll record it. So let's do this, guys. The purpose of this call really is to give you guys the opportunity to talk to one another and to kind of discuss best practices, what's working, what's not, any input that other markets can give you to get better, anything that you can provide to them, and kind of open it up a little bit. You guys, just so you know, you represent the A markets in the West, which means that we are, we kind of classify you based on the size of, coaches that come out to your events. This call is for essentially Dallas, Portland, San Diego, Phoenix, and Orange County. We're still missing Phoenix and Orange County, but Brigitte messaged and said she'll be a little bit late, but she'll be on the call representing Phoenix. And then we're supposed to get Judd Welty from Orange County, but we don't see him yet, but that's okay. So why don't we, real quick, have each of you introduce yourselves, because I know you're kind of looking at each other like, I don't know who these people are. So Van Zant, why don't you go first and just kind of introduce who you are, where you live, time with Beachbody, maybe stuff like that.
Okay, sure. I am in Frisco, Texas, and I've been with Beachbody since, 2010. So, just been here a while, so definitely a veteran. Love being on the Market Council. We've seen a lot of ebb and flow with the leaders who have done our supers, and we're really excited how we're fine-tuning it, and we think we really have it dialed in now. So, but always, anxious to learn from you guys. But that's it. Anything else? I've got 2 kids.
Why don't you at least tell them who your 3 Market Council members are?
Oh, okay. The 3 are Danielle Natoni, Lori Stewart, and myself, Caroline Van Zant. And then, of course, we have our committee below us that, supports the market.
Okay, so that's Dallas. Why don't we jump to San Diego? Lindsay, will you introduce San Diego?
Yeah, I'm Lindsay. We're in San Diego, and I've been a coach since September of 2012. And we have, we had Jamie Shepard out here, and she really was kind of the launching force into what we're doing now, which is monthly trainings. Dave Ward heads those up for our local coaches. And then we have Coach Night Out. So we have couple areas. San Diego's so big, so we have a couple areas that like North County has their thing, and then we have a couple things happening in the East County where coaches just get together once a month, like grab dinner or they paint and wine. So we have like a really cool vibe that we're still trying to launch forward and just continue what Jamie Shepard started here. And we've got a lot of elite coaches with Ashley Mahaffey, Meredith Ganau, Raina Odell, and then we have the wards, of course, here that are all involved. So we've got a really cool crew here.
Perfect. I don't know if CJ wants to say anything. CJ, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm CJ McDonald. I've been a coach since 2009. Joined the Market Council. I think this is my 2nd full year. Love exactly what Lindsay said. Love the vibe that we're creating. And I think the only thing that a couple things we'd like to know from the rest of the group. One is how in the heck do you get your people to register early? Because San Diego loves to be fashionably late. And then 2 would be, have you guys filed for a 501c? How are you streaming the money in order to stay compliant with corporate? Those are kind of the things that I'd like to hear how the other councils are doing.
So let's have Portland introduce themselves first, and then we'll get to that.
I'm Holly Meredith, coming up on 6 years as a coach, and I just love that we've joined up and have this Market Council so that we have these big events and are all working together. We were all kind of separate before, so yeah.
I'm Stephanie Davies, also a part of the Portland Market Council. I've been a coach since July of 2013, so almost 3 years, which is crazy. We do have a giant group of elite coaches here in Portland, so it's been really fun to have everyone working together. The events have grown a lot over the last 2 years. Yeah, also here to get some new ideas, and we can talk about money. That'd be really awesome because I've been dealing with that here in Portland, so I'm interested to see what you guys have been doing. We get people to register early, but then there's a lot of money, that is passing through my bank account, so I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. But other than that, I mean, I dig those ideas, Linz, that you talked about. I think that's so cool. We've got so many elite coaches here that I feel like we could be doing a little bit more of, that monthly kind of stuff and offering trainings. So Jessie Vandenberg, Holly, Kiana Hanna, we've got a ton of girls out here. Shelly Heim, Becca Gahan, Paige Casto, just a ton. So that kind of helped us figure out how to rotate, so that each person was only kind of heading the event 3 times before we rotate. I hear a baby coming. My husband's going to try to hide. So yeah, lots of girls up here, lots of room for improvement, but things are going well. So stoked to hear what you guys are doing. And this is Cheyenne. She's really, really cute.
Wow.
Hi, Sissy.
We interrupt this call for a baby commercial interruption.
I got to go to her first Super Saturday, and she dug it.
That's awesome.
So cute.
Well, I'll tell you what. Again, you guys represent literally. I mean, I think Dallas is now consistently pulling 1,000 to their events. I mean, they've had as big as 1,500. And maybe averaging the 800 kind of range. Portland, kind of similar, maybe the 600 to 1,000, mostly in the 800 range. San Diego's in probably the 400 to 600 kind of category. Lindsay, would you agree with that?
If we're lucky.
Well, it depends on who we send to San Diego. That's true. It is interesting. I mean, you all do represent, obviously very large, cities or just geographic areas. And, Dallas draws from huge demographic that is spread out all over the place, including Fort Worth, Texas. We've dealt with some issues in Dallas where we had multiple market councils, with Fort Worth and with Dallas. And it worked for a while where Fort Worth would run their own and Dallas would run their own. And now it seems to be that Fort Worth is kind of just joining back into Dallas to kind of be a part of it. So you guys know, I mean, Dallas literally probably always has someone from corporate. You guys are all getting there. I mean, Portland, you've had somebody for the last little while, pretty consistently. Orange County's had some love, and, Phoenix as well as lately had some pretty good things that are happening. There are some, we've had some issues in certain markets with kind of break off market councils, which, people started their own and they're dealing, trying to start their own meetings and events to compete with market councils. And we are dealing with that on our side to, kind of create some policy around, to protect the market council, meaning if you guys put out money on a hotel, I want to make sure that that's the event, and that there aren't, other, churches down the street that are going to be running the same thing for free, and then that it hurts your events. And so there are some things that we're working on. We're going to get into best practices. I do want to make sure that you all have seen the market council guide that the company put out. It's in every one of your market council groups that we've created. This has been put in the file section. It's a brand new document. It's continuing to be revised. We've got a coach that is an accountant that's been dealing with the funds, and he's laid out a very specific way to handle the finances of a market council. You can kind of see it in there if you wanted to kind of read through that. That is going to be updated. He actually has done some more research, and he's going to bring some more information to the table as it pertains to finance. But I would tell you that in regards to the money and how to handle it, I would really kind of dive into this document and kind of see what that, if that doesn't help you out a little bit, but certainly we can talk about how others have handled it. Before we go there though, let's start with Dallas. Let's go back to Caroline. Caroline, why don't you talk about and again, we don't have, a ton of time, but talk about the things you guys do that are unique so that these other guys can get ideas. One of them is the, where you're able to put
Hashtag.
up on the screens, things like that. So why don't you talk about some of the things you guys do in your events and how that's working for you? Well, real quick, we've got Jessica Vandenberg, looks like she's joined, and Brigida is coming on. So Jesse is part of Portland, Oregon, and Brigida is on the call representing Phoenix. So, hey guys, welcome to the call. What we're doing, we're going to run through each market's going to take a chance to just really quickly talk about what's working, and then we'll kind of get into what's not working. So, but let's go through the positives, the good things, and then if there's questions, let's have anybody add or update questions as they can. Davies will add that doc if it's not in there. We'll get it thrown in there right now. But Van Zant, why don't you talk about what's working in Dallas?
Sure. Well, we've got a really great crew. It's just turnkey. Our volunteers, I'm in charge of the volunteers, and we have the same ones, so they know to get there early. It's just really clean. The registration process, it moves really quickly and smoothly. So that's really good because, the people waiting in line and, getting through to get in, I feel like that's the first impression that they get. And when they see they're organized and, we've got everything streamlined, it starts it out with a really good vibe. One thing that we do that, again, speaking about vibes, is we've got some cranking music going. It is a party from the minute you walk in. We've got Darren playing some, cool jams, and it's just like a big, kind of like a big Shanti party. I think he mixes Shanti's music or something. So the music's going, it's pumping. We're making announcements as people are coming in. And one thing that we do, and we go through the line and tell them to do this, it's when they go to their Insta to hashtag TBB Dallas. And once they do that and they hashtag that, I'm not sure of the name of exactly what it is, like if it's the app or whatever it is that Danielle and them use to put it up on the screen. I think it's called Insta something, but basically what it does is you get to see your picture, like a slideshow of your picture of whatever you post on Instagram will show up on the screen. So like at all of our events at Summit and Leadership and all that, you see all those pictures go up while everyone's waiting to be seated, and the speakers start. So that's really neat, and it's really personable. And we have been actually trending on Instagram every time we have our super, and Carl just digs that because it's like TBB Dallas, and it shows up. We're trending. So we're like, everyone hashtag TBB Dallas. So we just make it a point from moment one to have big energy, big smiles, greet everyone, make it like a party. We've got we do that photo booth now, where you do the little mustache or whatever. So we bring that in. So while people if our event starts at 1, we start letting people in at 12:30. They can go to the photo booth. We have step and repeat over there. If we have a celebrity, then we usher people in groups of, 13. Just, we don't care who you are, what team you're with. Just, we want everyone to get a picture with the celebrity. So we have that first in that first 30 minutes, and we rotate. So we have a professional photographer there. So everyone gets a chance to have their picture taken. We have candids, all that good stuff. And we also have raffles. So we try to raise money, whether it's for IJM or anything that Carl is passionate about at the moment. We do raffles for that. So if you give, $5 or whatever, you get a raffle ticket, and then we all bring prizes. So between each of our speakers, we'll do a raffle. So we have our big box of raffles, and, again, we're partying, okay, and we make them act like the price is right. Like, if we call your name, you better run down the aisle screaming, and typically they do, and they run up and actually hug us, and we're like, okay, and then they go pick their prize, and, it's just very funny and exciting, and we're always rotating, so you feel like the vibe continues to change. One thing I wanted to mention is we get people to register early with incentives. So for instance, we'll say, when we put our thing out there, if, if you register before, this date, then you're going to get, $5 off. It's going to be $10. After this date, the price goes up to 15 or whatever. So we give them a little, incentive that way. And it's all of our jobs to, be putting it on our team pages, be putting it out on our social media, and, just spreading the word that you register early, you're going to save a little bit of money. So that does kind of get a push.
Okay, so talk about, you do it on Sunday. Talk about time of day, when you run it, things like that.
We do it Sunday because I don't know if the other market councils, we're big in sports and kid things. It feels like our lives revolve around our kids' stuff. So Saturday's typically sports all day, and you're not going to get as big of a turnout. Friday nights, it was okay when Fort Worth did Friday nights, but we have found that after church, 1 o'clock on Sundays, 1 to 4 really works. One thing that we get complimented on a lot is that we don't drag this thing out. Like, it is boom, boom, boom. The last one, I think we were wrapped up at 3:30, and that was with 3 speakers, our video, our raffle, everything. I mean, I blinked and we were moving chairs for the workout. So we always do a workout at the end. It's typically we wrap up at 3:30. Our workout is starting, 4, 3:45, 4-ish, right around there. And then they're out by 4:30. And if they want to go to dinner with their team, they can, totally do that. But they don't feel like they're, investing their life in this day. It's like just really quick and, like I said, streamlined, energetic. So that really works, that time frame, 1 to 4.
Okay. Any questions for Dallas? And what we'll do, Caroline, while the others are talking, if you'll message Danielle and get the name of that app, because I think that's a big one these guys need to get. They need to know that.
Yeah, and how that all works, like connecting it to the screen, and is it through the computer, through the iPhone, or whatever? I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it is a cool thing that they do, and it's a I know it's an app anyway. It's really not complicated. I just know Danielle or Darren really kind of runs it.
Linz, do you know what that is? Because I know when Jamie Shepard was in Portland, she set it up for us, and it was so cool.
Yeah, she did it for us too, and I don't know. Now that she's gone, I don't know.
Like, great, it's there. I don't know how you did it, but cool.
That's so awesome. But it's one of those things you're like, but it's.
And she did it for us, yeah. So I don't know exactly how or what it is there. Sorry.
Okay. Well, if we can get it from Danielle, I think that'd be helpful. All right. Let's jump to Portland, and why don't we have Davies? Why don't you talk about Portland a little bit, what works, what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I can talk about a few things and then pass it over to Jessie, because she's been kind of heading it since I've been like having this human.
Yes.
But things that have been working well, we started a personal development table, which seems really simple because people can get on Amazon and get these books for cheap, but we've been getting a ton of books and having them there at the cost that we get them. And I don't know about this last time, Jess, but every other time they've completely sold out. So, what are your favorites as a leader? Compound Effect, The Go-Giver, You Are a Badass, and just having those there has been really, really cool, and people love it. So that's been something that came up we've probably been doing it for like 3 or 4 Super Saturdays, and people love it. Same thing, raffles go really well. Usually we just give tickets when they check in. It's part of their, what they get for getting their ticket. But I love the idea of using that as a way to raise money. That could be really cool. Our groups have been getting bigger. I agree on the Sunday thing. We've had them on Sundays for the last few months, or the last few times, because like Carl came, and we had it on Saturday this last time and had quite a few less in attendance. And so I think that Sundays might be what Portland Portland is asking for. We had Vito Lafato out, and so that was really cool. So since Doug sent us Carl, now everyone's like, who's coming this time? So we've been trying to get someone new. For a long time, you guys know Amy Silverman was here in Portland, so it's been nice to mix it up so all teams know this is an event for every team. So when we lost her, that kind of sucked because she was great. But yeah, the events keep growing. We're kind of looking for a new space because we got this fancy space for when Carl came, and now the ticket sales aren't really supporting that venue unless we have a really big guest out. So any tips on where you guys are running rocking events? I know Jamie Shepard's always telling me to get into a high school, but where we're at, it's costing us about $8,000 to $10,000 to have it there. So, yeah, Jess, do you have other stuff? We got a step and repeat. People love that. So, Carolyn, I don't know if you guys have a step and repeat and a photo booth. Idea. So hearing how how you do the actual photo booth as opposed to the step and repeat would be cool. But yeah, I think we need to bring some energy. For a while I've been thinking, is it a theme? Are themes cheesy? How do they work for you guys? Do people work out if it's a theme and they're in cowboy boots? How does that work? Do people stick around for the workout? Because I think that Portland just could use a little bit of extra, just something, that gets their guard down and sees leaders kind of, whether it's 80s or, neon colors, whatever it is. I know I stalk Nikki Whiting and their market council in Louisville, and I always see them doing some fun theme. And so I'd love to hear how that has been going for any of you that do that. But yeah, Jess, what did I miss?
I think you're spot on with what you shared. I think what we've kind of been doing subconsciously without really necessarily a plan of action is kind of having some sort of trainer. So whether it's, like Doug sending out Carl or whoever it is. Vito came last time. Mike Ryan said that he was willing to come for the next one and do kind of a training. And so we've kind of been treating it more like they come to Super Saturday, but they're also getting some sort of training with that as well. I know that the coaches are super excited about that. They have lots of feedback. They're not hearing it just from their coach. They're hearing it from somebody else. And so that's awesome because it kind of backs what their coach is sharing, but hearing it in a different light or hearing it out of the mouth of Carl. That's been really awesome. It kind of gives a new hype to the event and a new way to promote it. I definitely think Sundays works best for us for sure. And I think that's just kind of been trial and error depending on the sporting events and so on. Sunday's definitely good for us. They really like the photo op. So what we did previously with Carl is the first, I think it was 200 that registered got a free photo op with Carl, and that was huge. It got the numbers up pretty quick. And so that was a bonus. But whatever kind of training that you can do or add in has been just an added benefit and bonus. And I think it's kind of like you treat it, the Super Saturday is like a mini summit. And so when you can bring some sort of training content to the table and throw in spice of somebody that's not always at your Super Saturday, it really makes it a lot more exciting. So this last time was really cool to have Vito there. A lot of coaches didn't know, exactly who he was, and he totally brought the heat. It was awesome. We don't really do a theme, like Stephanie said. I think that would be fun, but I almost think like that's one specific area one person needs to take over and be in charge of. In my opinion, I think that's like a whole new category for somebody to take on. But something that's worked for us, and working well together as a team for the Portland Market Council is to kind of just have like designated areas that we take care of and switching it like every 3 or 4 times. So then that way there's not a burnout. And then constantly announcing like, we want new blood, we want new people up here. So as people take on different roles, they're bringing people from their team. I've been asking like brand new coaches to come in and help with like making Shakeology energy bites. So not even just at the Shakeology table do we have Shakeology, but I mean, it's like a delicatessen of Shakeology energy bites at our table. And that's pretty cool. We also did an Energize table this last time, and that was super popular. The line was super long. People at a rush for that. That was really popular. What we're hearing for the PD table, so we did sell out. I think I walked home with maybe like 5 books total, is people want audios and CDs. So, those are more expensive. So that's my only question is if you're going to get that return, are you going to be stuck with the CDs? But so far so good. That's been super popular, and it's just that on demand of like I'll buy maybe 2 new books with each new Super Saturday and just use what we have left and restock some of those and then buy 2 new books. And if I notice that some aren't selling out, then I stop buying those and just restock the new ones. So that's been super good. But so far, it seems like it's running pretty smooth. Like it's less stressful because everybody kind of knows their roles, and we're pretty divvied up well, it seems like, especially from the beginning. Like to think back a couple years ago, it was overwhelming, and then now it just seems like it runs really smoothly because everybody just works together.
Well, and I think Jesse, just to kind of let other people know how we divide the responsibility in Portland. So the way that it works in Portland, guys, is that Stephanie Davies is the money, Holly Meredith is the location, and then Jessica Vandenberg is the day of the event. So they each kind of have their own like responsibility that they each take care of. And it really does work well for them to have, Holly's kind of running around beforehand, getting the event and the location determined. And then the day of, and then Stephanie is the one that's kind of, marketing and money and making sure that everything gets paid and it's tracked. And then Jessica is the one that's, ready with the day of the event. She kind of runs getting the volunteers and everything lined up. And then she helps execute the event on the day of. So it really alleviates kind of Jessie going into the event where she's kind of in charge that day. She's crazy, really busy, but the others are more, and I know it doesn't necessarily balance evenly, but it does seem to work well in Portland to kind of separate responsibilities that way.
Well, so everybody kind of shares the role, too. Like, if we're trying to figure out where to have the next location, we're all kind of pooling ideas, or, if there's certain questions, we all try to help, instead of like constantly, go back and ask so-and-so, go back and ask so-and-so. If we don't have the answer, then we'll refer them back to that person in charge, but we all try to help answer the questions and navigate to, not just have one person have a heavier load.
But you guys are doing the same roles every single time. Like you don't change things up.
It's been the same for a while. I think the original intention was to kind of rotate it every 3 Super Saturdays, like get everyone kind of, for a minute, we all had a backup elite coach that was kind of going to take, then I would step down and that coach that had been kind of just shadowing would then take the role with the money stuff. It's been, I've just kind of taken it because it can be really overwhelming. But like then I field the Eventbrite emails and I set up the event with Beachbody and I set up the event usually on Facebook. So then like I'm answering those questions. Can I buy a ticket at the door? And so Jess is doing the, getting all of the crazy chaos ready for that day. So she's the one, getting everyone set up before. So it's been working well. I mean, I know it's a lot. So Jess probably keeps that part to herself, but we've had a good group. I think she's had a solid group of people. Like we had some people step up for the front registration table. So every time now that those girls show up. And so it's been kind of cool to get in that rhythm. So each time you're not, doing that scramble. So it's been a lot better. I know for me, because I burned out last summer. And so that's when Jess took the MC role again and kind of took that over. So
I think too, what is easier is I mean, honestly, I don't feel overwhelmed because there are so many people in the market council, not only like, I guess what you would call like the executives of like, you know, delegating and whatnot, but then we have people like the diamonds, the star diamonds, people in the downline, or people that just come to the events, that we can delegate to certain duties. Like we do an agenda on the Portland Market Council, and I'll create like, okay, we need 5 people for the Shakeology table, and you guys are going to bring the shake, the ingredients, and the Shakeology bites, and you guys are in charge of delegating out whatever you need help with. And then I end up just buying all the PD and taking care of that, but then I have 2 people work the PD table. And so everything is kind of ahead of time, already delegated out. People are assigned. The expectations are set of what they're in charge of. And then, you know, usually I have anywhere from like 5 to 10 just extra bodies show up, you know, before we open the doors to help with random things. And so there's always just an abundance of help. And you know what, I still have people after every Super Saturday message me, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of the market council and help out. And because I know I'm going to forget who they are, I always say, awesome, message me like in July or message me in June. So in that way I can give you, you know, some sort of task, because or else I'm going to lose that piece of paper with everybody's name on it. And they'll message me back, so then they can get involved, get their teams involved, and we just keep getting new blood. You know, and even little things like making 2 batches of Shakeology energy bites, that's huge, because, you know, that's time consuming. And, you know, it just helps take a roll on. We also do, I don't know that we talked about that yet, is prize giveaways. So raffle tickets, or this time we didn't have raffle tickets, so we just run with it, and we just picked random people out of the crowd, what seat they were sitting in, gave away prizes. I think, you know, they really like that. That's something fun and exciting for them. But just really having a mass amount of people to show up early to the event to just kind of execute and help out with extra things is huge too.
Yeah, and we usually open the doors an hour before kickoff so people can mingle, take pictures, do all that kind of stuff.
And we have a DJ. The DJ has been consistent. He comes to each event. We kind of get him locked and loaded, you know, for the following Super Saturday or Sunday. And then he does a really good job too.
Okay, why don't we bounce to you, Brigitte? Why don't we talk about Phoenix, you know, best practices, what's working? I think some of it's similar, but, you know, maybe touch on anything that's unique.
Yeah, it's been a journey for us where I think a lot of leaders, anyways, I don't need to go up, the journey has been over, but this last time what worked really well for us is to have the location set. So it sounds like, you know, you guys are kind of working that out in Portland and finding a specific spot that you can go and have it be at that spot every single time. But that's what we've been really working towards. And I'm so excited we finally found a spot, but it's been, prior to that, a different location every single time. Every single time we're like, okay, now where are we going to do it? And then we have to spend a couple weeks trying to find a spot. So the one that we're at is a hotel. And so I don't know if, you know, before we were looking at a convention center, we were doing it at a church before, at the college here, ASU. And so we're excited to find this one. And then also having speakers coming out. So I was a guest speaker out in DC, and I just really liked the structure, the way that they did it there. Like they had it at the same location every single time. They had 2 guest speakers come out, and the MC would stand and like share, introduce everybody, and then the speakers took like 15 minutes before the video was played, and then after the video they did a quick recap and then had the workout. So we've been trying to get 2 speakers, you know, coming in from the network or whatever, and kind of lining that up. So we already know like who's coming in October. We already knew who was coming throughout the year. in like February. And that made it so then at the end of the Super Saturday, we had a little video playing that said, you know, coming soon. And so kind of got the hype up. So, I mean, I believe we've already sold like 175 tickets for the next one already, which, you know, we normally have about 500, 600, 700. I mean, we had almost 1,000 at this last one, but we had Autumn come. So that was a big deal.
Brigitte, is there any way you could show that video? Like share your screen and show that one?
Do you want me to play it right now, or do you want me to send them?
No, I think it'd be great to play it right now. It's only like 1 minute long, guys, but this is something that I saw it in Atlanta that they did. And so in Phoenix, we had them put it together, and it really works well to build the excitement for the next event. Because I know the question came up, you know, how do we sell tickets earlier? So if we can play it, I think that'd be great just to kind of show them. And all we did, guys, is it's on iMovie, and your kids make those movie trailers. We literally use one of those movie trailers and create one that really is kind of a stinger video for the next Super Saturday.
Yeah. Let me pull.
And I would totally have it on mine, Brigitte, but my internet on my laptop's not working. Okay, here we go.
Can you guys see it still?
Yes. So it kind of gives you, it was a little choppy, Brigitte, but perfect. That's exactly, I just wanted them to kind of see that and how, and maybe talk about when you played it. And I mean, people cheered.
Yeah. Like people were cheering and all excited. And I think people were like relieved.
It's going to be hot. So man, I don't need a jacket.
Wait, I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's my YouTube. So I'm like, who's talking? Anyway, yeah, like people cheered, and I think people were relieved to like see, oh, it's already planned, like it's already going to be at the same place, you know, and we were able to like get the Eventbrite link to them like the next day in the team pages. And we did the same thing that you were mentioning, Carolyn, and saying, you know, tickets are this price for this month of April, and then it's going to go up from there. One thing I noticed DC did, and we were going to do it this last time, but they said like, if you bought tickets by a certain date, then you were in a raffle for a one-on-one call. Like, and they asked me as a guest speaker, would you be willing to do a one-on-one call with someone? And so at the event, like they drew a name from their pile of people who had purchased a ticket by a certain date or whatever. And I had a one-on-one call with this random coach. So I thought, you know, if you have like a guest speaker, I mean, that's kind of another way to boost ticket sales beforehand as well. And I wasn't sure on like the raffle, what to do there, but one thing we did too that just really kind of helped us find some different people to share their stories and see what people wanted to do, because we had gone back and forth a lot on live workouts versus doing the sneak peeks, and I'd love to hear like what you guys are doing. But I did create just a Survey Monkey survey thing. I don't know if you guys have seen those before. And just asked people like, okay, tell me who you are, tell me your rank, so we could get an idea of what the ranks were in the audience, you know, and tell us your Beachbody story. Are you willing to share your Beachbody story? And then we had just a bunch of questions of like, do you like the live workout? Do you like this? Do you like doing the raffles? Do you like having this? And if you're, I think too, trying to figure out what day to do it on, that's probably a way to kind of get a tab on it is to do a survey. But it's through, I want to say Survey Monkey, but I don't know if I'm just thinking of, Pick Monkey and the email monkey thing. Everything's monkey. So I really do think it's Survey Monkey though. But it was free, and then people could just get on and then be anonymous if they wanted to. And I can share that if anyone's interested in that too. But that kind of helped us find some people who were willing to share their story that we didn't know about because they're not like in one of our direct downlines. So that was helpful too. But we are like moving around who is doing what each time, and I think that might be creating a little unnecessary chaos. And then also just switching up who's on the MC. But I don't know, part of me is trying to figure out what the feedback is from previous leaders who were kind of running the events here, or from the council or from the group here, if people get sick of seeing the same people. I'm like, we've got a lot of great leaders in this area that I'm like, could totally get up there and speak, but I'm like self-conscious that people don't want to hear from me or don't want to, people get sick of, like, we just got feedback that we have the same people doing the same things every single time and other people want a chance to help out. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to dominate or have people feel like they don't get a turn, so kind of sensitive to that too. And I'm rambling, but.
Yeah, no. I think that you're spot on. I mean, I think that one of the things they've done well in Phoenix is they've had 2 elite coaches kind of MC it, and they rotate that. So we have several new elite coaches, Shelly Hobbs and Courtney Gubernick, and anyway, so there's some really neat up and coming new coaches. And I think they did a good job of giving them stage time and giving them the opportunity to MC the event. And not only that, but it sets them up, I believe, to kind of come in and, now where Brigida's, let's say Brigida's going to go to wherever this summer for, whatever, somebody else can step in and there's not this big disruption in the market council, that it makes it easier if they're, if we're kind of the idea that Davies brought up of we're grooming kind of other up and coming elite coaches to get them ready to be, one of the 3 as opposed to one of the 10. And I think that's been really
well, and I think that's a little bit of our hard part is because our 3 are not really the 3 taking charge. You have to or who are consistently there. So,
right.
We kind of have to figure that part out is, because we get a lot of people who are like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm even going to be there. And I'm like, okay, well, you've got to figure that out now, or you need to commit, because otherwise we're planning it without you. And then you decide you're going to stay and we've already got everything done. So I don't know.
That's right.
We're going to figure that out. But how many people do you guys have helping? Because it's like we have a market council of like 10 people, but yet there's supposed to be like a hub of 3, but it's really like the 10. But then at the same time, like some people's job in the 10 is really like kind of a stupid job that doesn't necessarily need to be. But I feel like we have so many people wanting to help that I think we're finding, I don't know, like one person's job was finding the balloons, like the balloon person. Like that was so simple, but you know what I mean? And then it just feels like some people do like, I don't know.
It helped when Doug came to visit Portland because we have the same problem. We have like 10 or 12 elite coaches. And it was that psychological phenomenon when whether there are a lot of people, no one does anything because they're all like, someone else will do it. It was too confusing. And so Doug came and we talked about the 3 people. And that was the official market council where, the 3 that someone stepped down, Doug, said this is who's going to be on the council for this, for this next 6 months or whatever.
Yeah. So I just need to figure that out, Doug, because our 3 people, it's not really the 3 people who are doing
Well, and I think you're right. I mean, in Phoenix, we've had the run-in where we pick the 3 kind of verbally commit, and then, hey, I'm going to San Diego or I'm going somewhere else. It's like, wait, no, you're one of the 3.
Yeah.
So, I'll get with you, Brigida, and let's.
Yeah, we'll work on that. But I think having the same place, getting that out, doing the same thing, doing it. We're getting in that same routine of having the same DJ, the same. We also had a semi-professional person taking photographs this last time too, and that helped out too. It was just a coach. But one person designated taking the pictures, and then she uploaded them just into a Google Doc or a Dropbox folder to share with everyone, versus one person standing there and being like, okay, give me your cell phone. So like we went through the photo line with Autumn like super fast. And we also did it outside the room this time. When we had Carl, we did pictures like inside the room, and I think that just was a little more chaotic for people because people were like, I don't know. So another thing real quick, and then I'll be done, but we also started doing VIP tickets. And so with that, we said, okay, there's 100 tickets available, and the VIP tickets were like $100, whereas we're selling tickets for $15, early bird $20 after early bird. But $100, and that gets them to be able to come to dinner on Friday night. And we were able to get catering done by the hotel where we're at, like, and they have a ballroom, and they catered it, and it ended up being like $50 a person for the food, and the service and the room and all of that kind of thing. And so then that kind of covers a little bit more of their ticket plus a little bit more. But we had wristbands for them, and so we just bought like the party wristbands, that you guys got at Summit and stuff like that. I found them on Amazon, and we were able to get like plastic VIP ones for the $100 VIP people. And we said there's 100 tickets, max out, you're done. First come, first serve kind of thing on that. And then on registration day, all they had to do is just hold up their wristband, because they had been there Friday night for the dinner, had their wristband already, and were able to bypass the registration table. And then we sectioned off the first like 3 rows or whatever at the event. So VIP also got to sit up front. And we kind of did that. And so we're going to do that again, because I think people really liked that. And then we did the same thing for registration. We gave them a paper one, so it was like cheaper little wristband ticket, different color. Same thing, just off of Amazon. But a lot of that was also because of the venue and how it worked out, like where were we doing registration table, and then where the pictures were, and then you came downstairs and had the thing. So we kind of needed to make sure we could tell who had checked in, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
But that worked out really well.
Perfect.
Sell?
Go ahead.
Did all 100 tickets sell?
Well, we did it very last minute
Yeah.
last time, so we decided like 2 weeks before. We sold like 89.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, that was also, we did have Autumn there, and so Autumn was at the dinner, right? And she did like a little Q&A. But we told people it would be the same thing. Like, we got a commitment from Danielle and Tony and Scotty Hodds that it would be able to come to the Friday night dinner, and that they would be willing to do Q&A, But we had like this step and repeat, and they also got to have their picture with Autumn done that night before. So then that was 100 people done out of the way who didn't, need to get in the line for Saturday morning.
That's amazing. I love that.
So, guys, we're going to run out of time here, and I know we want to talk money a little bit, but Lindsay, San Diego, best practices, anything else that you haven't heard that you guys do?
Yeah, no, I love the idea of the PD table. What we did, which we could probably add to, we actually paid to get a San Diego Beachbody Coach logo done. It was super affordable. It was cheap, and we had, our market council vote on what they liked. So we created this, and then we went and got water bottles with our logos on them. And then we put a scoop of Energize in there with the water bottles that we sold. We pre-sold all of them. And I think we ended up doing like 150, and they all sold out with the ticket sales. So they could just add it to their ticket because they're paying the money anyway. So they just kind of add it into their ticket. And we did like a bundle package where they saved. So a lot of people did like the bundle of 5 to give away to their prospects that they were bringing or whatnot. So that was awesome. We also did sweaty bands with our San Diego logo, and those sold out as well. One thing that I love that we do well is Ashley Mahaffey seems to always find the greatest speakers for us. I mean, we had Mari Smith out with Shalene Johnson, but we also had Vito, and she brought in, or Vita, we had the best life coach, and she's not a Beachbody anything, but she came in, and the people in San Diego just thrived off of just not having all Beachbody talk. When they come to an event, you know, they're getting the corporate video, and that's great, but they like just, what could I take away from my life? It was like 30 minutes of like personal development in your face. So, you know, finding someone like that to come speak has just been a really, like, people loved that. So that's kind of where we're still trying to figure out what our people like and what's working. They love live workouts. So we have, you know, done like a little 10-minute preview of whatever, you know, the sneak peek workout is. But we have Michael Sowry here, and he has the best energy. So last time at registration, when they got their raffle ticket, we gave them like, you know, the little glow in the dark wristband things. And so we shut all the lights off, and everybody broke open their glow sticks, and he did a live turbo workout for us. So, you know, that just really, that's how we send them off. So it's just like a big party, fun, you know, so those are some of the things that we've done well.
Can I ask you, are you doing like one speaker?
And then we also had our physical transformation from one of the coaches. So we gave her the majority of the time. So we gave her 30 minutes, and we gave this other coach 10 minutes to share his story. Yeah.
Are you guys doing one coach story then? Like, are you guys doing two?
It depends. I mean, we had Jeff Hill here, and then we had him, you know, doing the top 10 with Raina. So we didn't have anybody else, right? Because we just had Jeff and then Raina. So Raina was our success story.
Yeah,
So she shared.
we actually did that time. We had a financial transformation and a physical transformation that time, Linz.
We did? Oh, okay. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Doug, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
How do you, so we've got the, well, really quick, the three, just to answer Brigitte really quick, we had that situation, we had a market council, and, you know, all of our big names, Jimmy Hayes Nelson, I mean, all these guys, the Hudgens were in it, but yet they were having to go off and do other things. So they were in it, but they didn't do anything. And so I guess that's how it evolved. Because I remember it would just be Danielle and I on the phone. We'd be like, okay, what are we going to do? And we were competing with Fort Worth, and it was just like, it was frustrating. So Doug, again, he dialed it in. So now we have the three, and it just runs like clockwork. But what do we do with the other 10? Because I feel like sometimes those 10, like you said, maybe one of them's getting balloons, or, you know, or sometimes they're just really not even doing anything other than having the title of market council. And we also got really cute jerseys. So we all now wear our jerseys, so you can tell who's market council or whatever. But I'm talking fast because I know we're running out of time. But what do you do with those 10? Because I feel like there's some other people that are really deserving of being in some of those 10 roles. And I'd like a way to say, okay, every 6 months we rotate the 10, you know, or and bring in others. But I don't know quite how to do that, because there's a couple that, you know, few that even of mine from my downline that I'm like, you know what, great, but these guys, I'd rather, you know, give these other guys an opportunity. And that's Danielle. Events Tag is what it's called. EVENTSTAG. Events Tag. For that hashtag thing. So yeah, so I was just curious about that. And then the last thing I wanted to throw in is that we're going to do the PD table, but what we're going to do is a trade. So you bring a book, you get to take a book, and everyone's going to sign the book. So if it's your book, you put your name in it, and then as it kind of goes, maybe you get a book with like 10 coach names, and it's just really cool to see, oh, wow, you know, Caroline read this, and then she passed it on to so-and-so, and then instead of them buying it, you know, for people maybe who their excuse not to do PD is because they don't want to buy a $10 book or something, I don't know, but we were going to kind of do the same thing.
Well, and you guys did one where everybody wrote down their favorite inspirational quote.
Yeah.
And stuck it to a tack board, and then they raffled that off as
That
a
was cool.
inspirational giveaway, and it was actually really kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have any of you had, and we do got to bounce, but have any of you had success with your transformation wall, your success wall, whatever you want to call it? Because I feel like some markets have done it and they've had success with it, and others it kind of gets old and it hasn't really been it hasn't really worked.
We have a success wall that we just add to every time, and we just keep bringing it. And then people bring their pictures, and someone's in charge of that. And I know you just said that, but another thing, just with Brigida, having it at the same place every single time is so smooth for people because they don't have to worry about where am I going this time. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's really dialed in. So that's a great idea too.
Yeah,
Hey guys, go ahead.
done that as well. San Diego's done that as well. We've had it at the La Costa Resort over the last year, and people love to have it at the resort because it's beautiful. We've been able to negotiate a killer deal where we can have a room up to like, Lindsay, what does that room fit at max? Our typical room, like 700, 800?
Yeah, 800.
Yeah, and they charge us a flat rate of $1,500. That doesn't count like tech people or anything like that, but the flat rate, and it's like a high-end resort. So we've been able to negotiate that. So it's been great.
And then, and I know we got to go, Doug, but I failed to mention this. We also did a Spanish meeting this time, and we had Leticia in charge of, the head Spanish Latino market coach, and they broke off into a room right next to us. So when it was time for video and speakers and things like that, they went into the other room, the smaller group, and they had theirs in Spanish, and they had, their own speakers. So that really helped our Spanish market. It was really super cool. And then we came back together, but it was really smooth how they went off. We took a bathroom break, and then they had their little group and we had our little group, but we were right next door to each other.
Okay, guys, the only reason I'm rushing us off the call is I have the next group of market councils I've got to jump on. I will make sure that each one of you has the market council guide. Take a look at that for the finances. Let's look at that. You know what? I think this was a great call. Maybe what I'll try to do is schedule another one in 2 weeks, and let's get you guys back together, because I feel like, let's next conversation. Let's talk about what's not working, what else can we fix, what else can get better. And I think bringing you guys together kind of as a mass, mind, meld is a good thing, and really could help improve all of your events. But, hey, you're the top of the top, the best events in the West, and they're executing very, very well. So obviously there's nothing wrong with any of your events. It's just now how do we come in and make them better? So hopefully that's what you take away from this call, and we'll be in touch, and we'll get back together and do this again. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see.